Okay, week 25. And actually, I haven't been out here yet today. I think I was out here yesterday picking tomatoes, but I haven't looked today. So let's see. Some updates actually, we'll start there. You'll notice, well, there's the biggest one. The cucumbers are gone. So this whole area is looking just sparse now. There used to be corn right there, and then the cucumbers grew up and all the way over there. So that's all neat and tidy now. And everything else back there is just still growing. So that whole section is just open dirt, really. It's kind of mulched because a lot of the dead cucumber leaves fell. So that kind of helps, but I was hoping to put spinach there. It didn't really take, and I don't have any more spinach seeds, so I think I'm just going to leave it and let it do its thing. And then over here, I also cleaned up the, that's not a good angle. Let's try over here. I also cleaned up these cucumbers, so that's all just ready to go for next year, I guess. And also you can see this huge patch of, oh, that noise in the background is a Halloween doormat thing that I got that Penny keeps stepping on, so don't mind it. But I also cleaned up a ton here. There, if you remember, the eggplant plant was just massive. Like, it took up that whole thing, and there's one eggplant left that's growing, and then a couple of flowers that look promising, so I kind of left those. But I pruned back everything else because I really wanted the Brussels sprouts to get some light, and also just give everything else some room. Those eggplants were taking over. I'll just pop back there because I think that, oh, and I did take out, at your own risk. Yeah, there's a like doormat there, and under it is this pad, so if you step on the doormat, it makes it talk and Penny keeps stepping on it. Anyway, I pulled out one broccoli plant that was here, and that was mostly to, again, get light down to the carrots and the beets. This whole section back here has just sort of been light deprived because of everything that's been growing around it that just got huge. And with all the little worms that I've had on the broccoli and stuff, like there's one right there, I just decided to cut my losses and really help focus on this stuff that I want to grow down here. Whoops, focus. Down here. And the broccoli, I have 3 or 4 other plants, so if that one didn't look like it was going to take, I still have 4 other chances. So, and then here's the eggplant that's been really pruned back. I mean, there were 3 main stems there, and I actually took the main stem that was on this stake, cut that down, because there was tons of new growth on here, and so I just sort of bent this onto the stake so that it freed up the Brussels sprout that's down here, and this whole section is free. So you can see the one eggplant that's growing over there on that other plant has a lot more air and room and all that good stuff. So hopefully that'll help this perk up a bit, because it definitely, well, it was being eaten too, and I couldn't get to it, so hopefully this helps. And the carrots and beets and things look happy, so that's that. Alright, so now the rundown of everything. Where to start? Well, I guess right here. Broccoli, still having worm issues. Still don't see any signs of broccoli. So that's that. I don't know how much longer to wait, or to just pull it out so that everything else that's under it and around it gets better light. But I really don't see any signs of broccoli forming in here. So I don't know. There's another worm right there. I don't know if you can see on focus. There. So those jerks are, well, being jerks. There's another baby one forming right, oops, where is he? There. So I don't quite know what I want to do yet. I'm worried that it's really blocking out the celery down here too, which is not in focus. There we go. There's 3 or 4 celery heads down here, and now that the caterpillar situation is dealt with, I'm really hoping I see more caterpillar eggs. That's not good. Anyway, I'm really hoping that these will perk up. When the temperatures drop, they really did well. Oh, that's my shadow. But now that it's gotten warm again, we have an Indian summer going, it's probably, Let's check. Oh my god, look, there's 4 worms here. 1, 2, 3, 4. And that's just the ones that I can see right now. Anyway, it is 71 degrees and it's October. And it's supposed to go a bit higher today. So it's good for my tomatoes. It's keeping them turning red. But all the stuff that's more cool weather isn't really loving that. So, I don't know. I might pull out one more broccoli. We'll see. We'll see. Then there's this mess of tomatoes here, which I actually, since last week, so this whole area here was on the ground basically, and it wasn't, there were 2 problems. 1, it was going to kill the grass. 2, it was going to root in the grass. And then 3, it wasn't getting good air because it was just laying there. So I took this cage off of the cherry tomato plant that I'm just sort of letting go over there, and just kind of tried, the same as I did over on the other plant, just tried to lift everything up. It's a tangled mess in there, but I basically, my whole goal was to just get it off the ground. So it's off the ground now. Looks like we have a couple of dead branches, probably snapped a couple in the process, but I mean, you can see down here, these guys are doing just fine, and there's a whole bunch more tomatoes in there turning red. If we look down there, there's more, and there's more here. There's way more going up this whole thing, and this screaming in the background is really weird. There's more going up there, and there, and there, and there, and there, and there, and there, all the way up to there. So, Penny, no. So these cherry tomatoes are looking good still, and there's actually a lot more growing in there too. Hey, come here. Then there's this tomato plant, which I think I actually also pruned last week. I can't remember, but it's starting to turn red, so that's good. And then I found these guys just kind of laying on the ground, so I lifted them up onto the cage too, in hopes that they'll ripen. And then there's a whole little mess of tomatoes back there from one of my accidental plants. So those are looking good. Then down here is the radicchio, which, I don't know, it's getting bigger. There's a lot of gnats over here for some reason. Then there's another Brussels sprout. This one's definitely more full, or fuller. Still being eaten a bunch, but it's alright. And then I think I actually did prune back the kale a little bit while I was over here. I had the pruning shears out, and I think I just kind of went to town, and I don't remember exactly what I pruned, but I think I was trying to open up some light around the Brussels sprout, so I'm pretty sure I did prune that. Over here is the pumpkin patch. This plant has gotten bigger, and this one's actually produced a couple of flowers, as you can see. Let me get that out of the way. I did have one incident. I don't know what happened, maybe Penny, maybe a ball, any number of things, but there was this whole stem here with little flowers and leaves and stuff on it, and it just snapped off. Don't entirely know what caused it, but I'm worried about it, just because I don't have really good luck with squashes and the bugs that like them. I've had a couple of flowers fall off so far, and no signs of pumpkins yet, but I know there's this whole male-female flower thing in squashes that I don't quite know enough about, that I should probably Google. So I don't know. My guess is like one of these is a female flower because it opens up, and one of these is a male flower because it doesn't, but I actually don't know. So, right now my guess is I'm not going to have pumpkins for Halloween, unless a miracle happens over here. But I don't know, like all of these had flowers on them and nothing happened. So we'll see. I don't quite know. What else is over here? Kale, still looks like kale. It's huge. I actually haven't been eating it. I really should. And we already talked about the eggplant, so I won't go back over there. And then I pointed out the beets and carrots, but just to sort of show, they have gotten bigger. Like they're nice and full. They're not big enough yet to have any sort of good carrots on them. And the bunching onions have actually filled out a little bit too, and the beets. So they're looking alright. Nothing super spectacular. And I think I had already had this incident last week where I accidentally weed whacked the volunteer pea. It's not looking so good since then, so it's probably dead. Then there's this mess over here, which if you remember, God, months back now, when I was pruning my tomatoes, I just sort of jammed a bunch of the longer pieces into the ground. And this is what's happened as a result. It's a mess. It's insane. It's huge, but it's actually producing tomatoes. Like there's one there, there's a couple of babies over there, one there, one there. There's a whole bunch of cherries back there that I have to figure out how to get to. If you look on the bike tire, let's see if I can zoom into it. The bike wheel, there's a bunch more cherries over there. Yeah, so this was supposed to be my pumpkin patch. I was going to send all of these guys over there, but it turned into a tomato patch, which actually goes to show the timing. I'm trying to remember when I put these pumpkins in. It would have been 91 days before Halloween. So 4th of July, maybe? Just after 4th of July? That sounds about right. And this whole thing was just clear because I planned for that. And until probably a couple weeks ago, that was still the plan. And now this has happened. So luckily these aren't growing as quickly as I anticipated. And maybe these will have died back by the time these need to get over there. But we'll find out. Alright, then there's this eggplant plant, which has a couple of big eggplants on it. There they are. Down there. There's another one there, and another one behind it. I think there's one more somewhere. Maybe not. I think I have 5 left total. But they're doing okay. There was actually tons of cucumber vines intertwined in here, but those have been cleared now. And then this plant is just super heavy, so it's just kind of laying there. Really need to get to picking those. This tomato plant is also huge. It's actually way larger than the old large one. That one used to be the tallest and fullest, and now this is just insane. Like, probably a good 8 or 9 feet tall and at least 3 feet wide. And it goes back. It goes back here. So the whole scope of this tomato plant is just ridiculous. Like, doop, doop. And he stopped setting the mat off. Then these carrots have actually filled in really, really nicely in the last few days. They're looking really lush, which I like. So far, these are probably my best carrots, so happy about that. We'll see. I didn't thin these as much as I have in the past bunches, so I don't know if that'll affect the size, but I like how green it is here. And then the radicchio, they're looking good. I actually stuck my hand in there the other day to see if it's like turning into a head, and it is. So, yay. And there's a couple more going back there, and then cauliflower, 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 cauliflower. And some weeds. Those are wildflower weeds I need to deal with. I've been pulling them, but, well, they're wildflowers. They like to grow. And what else is over there? It's just a bunch more tomatoes. I actually need to start picking again today. I have not picked this bell pepper. I actually might just leave it and let it go to seed. Undecided. But there's actually new flowers coming up. Where are you? There. So maybe I'll get another pepper out of it. And my worm issue has made its way over to this plant, as you can see. It was the safest one for a while. I think maybe even last week it was fine, and now it's not anymore. I don't see any worms at the moment. I did a big cleanup yesterday, but yeah, someone's eating it. And still no signs of broccoli. Finally, is it finally? I still have the pots to do. The radish patch is looking good. The leaves are nice and big. I don't remember. I keep meaning to look up when they'll be ready to pick, but I'm pretty sure it's in a couple of weeks. The one radicchio here is doing its thing. Cabbage mothworm has now made his way to my radishes. Not cool, dude. Not cool. Get out of here. Get out. Go away. Gross. Okay, I'm gonna have to deal with that later because he's stuck and he has friends. Come on. Get off. Alright. Way to be a jerk. Alright, deal with that later. Anyway, and then in between here, you can see the start of some carrots. So, ideally, we'll have both at some point. And there's also some wildflower weeds in there, but can't do anything about that at the moment. The patches have filled in a little bit, but it's really weird how there's literally nothing right there. I definitely didn't like miss throwing them. I'm pretty sure maybe it was bad raking when I tried to spread it out and level it out. I'm not entirely sure, but hey, someone's been digging over here. There we go again. Other than that, let's see, that's everyone over here. Let's pop over to the pots. Oh, the tower. The bottom ones still aren't looking awesome, but this happened last year to the strawberry plants. So I'm hoping that just means they're sort of going dormant for the fall and winter. But the rest of them are looking really good. So, really happy with how that's turned out. Last but not least, we have the strawberries, which are totally in fall mode now. Like, all of these leaves have sort of dropped. There's only these little strawberries on it now, and they don't look so hot compared to before. It's actually really dry. Probably needs to be watered. We haven't had rain in a while. Actually, I don't think we've had rain all week, so everything's also really dry. But I'm trying to sort of let nature do its thing and not really amend much now that it's fall. But we'll see. I don't really like how those are looking. And there's still a couple of flowers in there, so I might be able to get a couple more strawberries out of it. I ate some the other day, so I'm definitely still getting them. And then the raspberries are also starting to turn fallish. See the colors changing here. Still waiting on a stake for that one. That one's good to go. This came down same day as the other cucumbers, and I'm just leaving that there to mulch and seed, and maybe I'll get some volunteer cucumbers for next year. Actually, I'm going to put that right there so it grows in the right spot. There we go. And that's it. So, for next week, I actually don't think we'll have many changes for next week. Tomatoes will still be going. Everyone will still be going, I think, next week. It's probably going to be pretty similar. I don't have any big cleanup plans. The majority of the cleanup of this round has been done. I don't think there'll be another big cleanup until maybe end of October. So for now, it's just waiting on like carrots and radishes and things. Hoping those pumpkins start to grow some more. Waiting on broccoli, and then still waiting on all these tomatoes to ripen up. The hundreds and hundreds of tomatoes that there are. And that's it. Alright. See you next week.